espaço. Mic. Check, 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 check. Mic. All right. Hello, hello. Yes, I can't believe it's already the end of the CTF. What a cruise it was, right? So before we go ahead and do whatever, like what you were here for, right? Knowing who won the CTF, we have a few things we like to go, like a few presentations and talking about NorthSec by the numbers and everything, because it's been a big year. I think it's our biggest CTF so far with something like over 700 participants. I think someone's gonna have the exact numbers later, but it's a huge CTF this year. We can see like there's I'm happy we didn't close the CTF for the Hacker Joe party. Sorry, Olivier. But otherwise, I don't think it would have been like we won't fit here. Like it's crazy. We need to think about something for next year. First of all, I'd like to introduce a friend of NorthSec from a long time. He's here to give a little speech. It's François Proux from Boost Security.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, I want to take the opportunity to thank all the volunteer challenge designers that made all the challenges you worked on. So, but also all the all the organizers for making not just the CTF, but the conference happen. It's what I consider a world-class event and a world-class CTF, as you know, mentioned, very big, but the quality is, epic. So a huge round of applause for organizers and challenge designers. Yes. So yeah, I'm François Proux, VP of Security Research at Boost Security. Boost Security is a startup in Montreal that is building an application security product, and I lead a small team of security researchers focused on software supply chain threats. We do all sorts of cool research around 0 days in build pipeline of open source projects. Some of you might have seen a conference talk that I gave this year and previous year. So that gives you some idea if you want to watch those talks on YouTube to get an idea of what kind of research we're doing. Some of you might actually be about to graduate, or you might be considering a change of career. So I would invite you to consider maybe a less traditional path, and consider working for local startup, and put all this energy, creativity, and skill that you all have, because to solve some of those challenges, especially the most difficult ones, it requires creativity, which maybe in more traditional jobs you're not really allowed to use it every day. And I understand that. That's why you come over the weekend to put it to good use, have some fun. But what I'm here to tell you is, if you consider startups, maybe you'll have more opportunity to kind of use that every day and have freedom to, experiment. So that's really my message. But of course, as we've been sponsoring the event for a number of years already, and we're very proud of doing that. And we're actually hiring, so both in the security research area as well as for internships. So don't hesitate to reach out. And yeah, that's it. So now I'll pass the mic back to check for the rest of the event.
Merci, François. Yes, so now, this year, we spent a wonderful weekend together aboard the CVSS Bon Secours. A ship full of wonders, some of which, some mysteries you might have found, or in some mysteries you might have not found. And some things that were a little maybe less obvious. So as usual, we like to go over all the scenario and everything to go into details so that everybody understand a bit what crazy things happened in our heads when we were planning the CTF. So I would like to introduce Eric Boivin, or weatherman, or green weatherman, whatever, that will elaborate on this year's theme.
Thank you. So last summer, I sat down at my place with Lambert, with Emilio, with who else? With Olivier. And I gave them 3 ideas for this year. My dream scenario was a heist. I love heists. They are narrative structures that are so interesting, and I felt being a part of a team of bad guys doing a heist in a casino will be interesting for visual aspects, but also as a storytelling engine. There was another idea in the lot that I also proposed. We at our at work, we were working with a very large cruise company, and the challenges of this company made me think, okay, security on the sea is something very complicated. So the people there said, why not mix the 2 ideas together and do a heist inside a casino on the seas? And everything was done. It was so easy afterwards. Even the title of our ship, CVSS Bon Secours, I don't even know what CVSS stands for, but it works. So, yeah. So everything went so well. You can't believe, because it's something in our minds. We understand ships, the iconography, and what it stands for. And of course, thanks to all the challenge designers, they were able to take that team and apply it. So I want to do 2 special shout-outs for the team. The first one is Max for the uniforms. This is awesome. The ability to have this. So, yeah. The second one, it's Martin, who created an awesome party and decoration. There were a lot of people in the team, but Martin, I want to thank you for embracing the team. So heist movies are super interesting. They all pretty much follow the same structure. Build a team, do the things, deception, treachery, and then success. And you reveal at the end, oh yeah, this is what happened in the end. So this is what the heist, the goal of Team Kraken was to steal the master key for all encryption in the world. There was a team of security companies that were meeting on the ship, and their master key was in the vault. So this is what the main objective was, and why we needed to transmit it to a satellite to disrupt the entire internet and the entire security of the world. So these bad guys decided to go against the tech elite. But to do this thing, they needed diversion. So like in all heist movies, there's something that happens. And in that case, that was a casino. And I want to congratulate the one team that succeeded in jackpotting the slot machine. That was impressive. So congrats to you. I don't know if they're shut down, but congrats. Also, shout out to the 2 teams that breached the vault and that transmitted the payload, because this was a very hard track. You needed 5 very hard challenges that required a diverse team, just like in heist movies. So you succeeded, congrats to you. And this was something new for us, having a meta track. I hope you liked it. It was difficult, but I think it gave an additional objective. So in honor of all these great movies like The Ocean, Inside Man, Dog Day Afternoon, Rififi, these crazy movies, now you've built one movie of your own. So congratulations, everyone, and see you next year.
Merci, Eric. Yeah, I think there's some parts of it that I didn't even understand myself, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it was something to see the vault getting opened. And I know there was a lot of cultural, the engineering at the very end to make it work. So yeah, again, congrats to everybody for making this happen. So next up, I'd like to introduce one of NorthSec veteran to have the very classic chat about, or the technological feat that is organizing NorthSec. So please welcome Stefan Graber, our VP of Infrastructure.
All right. So, hope that you all had an amazing week. As usual, gonna go over a few things, starting with who's the infrastructure team at NorthSec. We are one of those teams that actually does stuff the entire year, not just for the few weeks of NorthSec, not just for the few months where we prepare the challenges. It's really a year-long effort. And we've had a few changes. So 3 of us, we've been around for the past 15 years. You might say NorthSec hasn't been around for 15 years. That's because we also did hackers for 2 years before that. So we've been around a long time, but we've also got some new blood now with both Simon and Mona joining the team. So that's very exciting. Now, what is it that we actually do? Well, we run the NorthSec cloud infrastructure year-long. We've got cloud infrastructure in the data center. That's what you've been using for the entire CTF. But it also hosts our public websites and the Ring Zero CTF infrastructure for those of you who participate in the Ring Zero CTF during the rest of the year. We also manage, effectively act as HR to an extent. We manage access for everyone within the organization, do a bunch of tooling around that. You might think that's easy, but we're dealing with 90-year-long staff. And then we have, I don't know even how many volunteers we had this year, but a lot. So there's a lot of bookkeeping type stuff we have to do. Now, on the actual setup, we also do all of the wiring in here. So that's what we did on Monday. We've got 20 gigabit of fiber for every room. And then we've got redundant PoE switches in every single one of those rooms. And then a whole bunch of wireless access points everywhere to try and ideally give 100 megabits symmetric per participant. That's mostly the goal. And we also need to actually monitor and tweak signal levels and everything during the entire year, because every time we see that half the room is stuck on one wireless access point when there's like 12 in the room. So we need to keep kind of rebalancing things to keep the experience going. On the CTF side, we prepare the infrastructure. So for those who are not familiar with NorthSec already, every single team has a full copy of all the challenges. That's very convenient, so you can't block someone else's stuff. I'm going to get back to that a bit later when I go to the shaming part. We also test and monitor all the challenges. So we've got we've got a dashboard. It tells us what's broken. You can see it here with the health of the CTF, and 7 challenges were broken at the time. We keep an eye on that. We've got automatic logic to repair that, because last year, the guy who used to do that in person was unfortunately away traveling in Europe. So we replaced him by a script, as one does. And then he came back this year, and he improved the script so that he can drink more beer and just keep the script going. So shout out to David on that one. So we do a lot of that, and then occasionally you guys manage to break things in a way that a simple restart is not enough. So we need to actually go and do more complex repairs, and that's what we do the entire weekend, basically. All right. Infrastructure-wise, data center hasn't changed in the past year, so it's still 6 big, beefy supermicro servers with like 64 cores, 128 threads per server, 1 terabyte of RAM per machine, and then we run a ton of stuff on top of that. We use Ceph for storage, Oven for networking. We're doing like a full BGP network with FRR, and it's still running on Ubuntu, but that won't be the case for very long. For the on-site stuff, last year we still had a tiny bit of Cisco. Now it's fully moved to Microtik for all of the switches. So as mentioned, we've got 2 of them per room. We've got 20 gigabit uplinks back to a central room, 80 gigabit to our router, and then 10 gigabit link back to the data center for the actual challenges. We had 36 Unify Wi-Fi APs throughout the building, and the router actually did change. It used to be Ubuntu. This time it's the first time we run it on Incus OS, which is well, actually the first production deployment of the thing. But yeah, it's effectively the new platform to run Incus on its own without needing to mess with a Linux distro. So we've done that. We had a VM running all of the CTF AV stuff, so what was on the projectors, whether it was the scoreboard, the noises, the lighting, all that stuff was driven by a VM running on-site on that server. And then again, FRR and BGP for the link to the data center. Now for the main thing that was new this year, we decided to go infra as code, not for our own stuff. Our own stuff has been infra as code, at least partially, for a long time. But we went infra as code for the CTF itself. So every single challenge, every single track, instead of being someone building some binaries, dumping them somewhere, creating stuff by hand, and then us trying to figure out what they did and how to fix it. This time it was all done through Git. Everyone, like one folder per challenge with everything in there, and we could literally wipe the entire CTF and redeploy it completely from scratch in about an hour. So that's new. That was very exciting. It was also quite the learning curve for the CTF team. But we knew this year would be rough. Despite it being rough, we still had more flags and points than we ever did. So yeah, there's still that. And it's going to be a lot smoother moving forward. That kind of looks like this. So that was for the Linux side of things. We had all of those. We can see the different tracks as projects with the stuff inside them. They each have their own network. They can do firewalling per track, per networks. We also tagged everything so that every single container, we knew who put it together, who did testing on it, and who to contact if it goes down. So that makes it a lot easier to fix things. And everything else was also in that GitHub branch, including all the flags, all the files, all the forum posts, everything. So that makes it very easy to make sure that there's no mistakes, no missing links within everything, and actually validate everything. The other main reason to do that is NorthSec also runs Ring 0. And it's very convenient when you've got everything nicely as infra as code, because now we can just basically copy-paste it into Ring 0, and we're done. We don't need to reverse engineer it. We don't need to go through everything again. So that's going to make the Ring 0 team's job a lot easier. All right, a few stats quickly, probably not something you can easily read, but that's something we got now with the new tooling, is we can easily check the number of flags per track. We can easily check the distribution of the points across all of the flags. And we can then do the same thing with instead number of points instead of number of flags per tracks to kind of see if things are balanced, or at least if they look like the way we want them to look. And I've got a few special thanks for this stuff. Getting all of the challenge designers to learn something completely new wasn't easy, and definitely wasn't easy for everyone. The tooling was effectively built as we went during the year. So early adopters had it rougher than whoever contributed last, which is not something we really want to encourage. But that's how it was. So I've got a few things I would like to share there. First of all, Marc-Olivier Bergeron for his incredible work on the new tooling and for his help in getting all of the other challenge designers up and running. Because not only did he do his challenges, not only did he do his challenges, he also did even more when we were kind of low on points. And then he also made sure that everyone else's stuff was effectively functional in the new tooling and contributed a lot of the new features to the new tooling. Also, Emilio Gonzalez for also a lot of help on the tooling, especially on the validation side of things. So making sure that, there's no, all the files are there, that people are not doing invalid YAML files, all that kind of stuff, so that things are as smooth as possible. So yeah, thanks to Emilio. And lastly, to every NorthSec change designer for putting up with this change. It was not easy. It was a bumpy year. We still managed to deliver more than usual, and that just shows how good it should be next year. And we don't need to learn new things. We can just copy-paste the old structure. So thanks to all of the CTF challenge designers.
So speaking of challenge designers and challenges, I'm kind of hijacking this meeting because I was talking with several challenge designers, and one name kept coming over and over again because this person showed leadership. Not only did more than 20% of all the points, all the challenges were his, which is already significant considering we're like 30 challenge designers. He single-handedly did 20% of the challenges, but also he reached out to people saying, hey, here's your challenge working, how may I help? Like from an experience, this person showed a lot of leadership. And many challenge designers came to me saying, look, we'd like to recognize this person, so we'd like Marc-Olivier to please go on stage, he loves it. J'allais là parce que je préfère y donner. And now, Marc-Olivier receives the very first MVP Challenge Designer Trophy. So, once again, congrats. It is a well-earned. Thank you again.
Congrats. All right. Back to your normal programming. So, some stats, the usual stats. What did... Oh, are we doing photo there? What are you doing? Let's just wait.
It's a tradition at sea to send off the officers. So.
Yeah. Send him off the plank. Now you just better not retire. All right, okay, so some stats as usual. So what did we have this year? We had 96 teams provisioned, 93 actual teams in the building. We just have like a spare and some that we use internally for testing. Each team had 2 virtual machines, so that's 192 in total. Each team had 43 Linux containers, so that's 4,128 if no one's counting. 50 gigs of RAM per team for a total of 4.8 terabytes of RAM that we assigned to the CTF. 92 monitored services for a total of 8,832 things we were monitoring, which is kind of funny because we literally at one point when testing, we had 1,000 challenges not responding, and it was still showing us the CTF is 90% good. Just to give you an idea of how crazy this thing is. On the Wi-Fi, we had 912 clients at the peak. I'm kind of sad because we went so close to crossing 1,000, but oh well. There's always next year. On the internet side, we had 1.5 gigabit for like a 10-minute straight amount of time, so that was pretty good. And we had a bunch of spikes to like 6 gigabit. So you use the internet, but there's still a long way to go for actually properly using what we have, so that's good. We had, at the peak, 630 VPNs connected, and you guys made 45 million DNS requests, 57 of which we just had a cache entry already for, so that's good. Then for the interesting stuff, so Asgard. Total flags submitted this year, 14,580. Valid flags this year, 5,591. I don't think it's the worst year. I think you guys actually improved. I'm pretty sure we had some years where, because of people brute forcing things, it was significantly worse than that. Again, you're not allowed to brute force, but it always takes us a few seconds to catch you. So that was 38.34% of valid flags for anyone who's counting. That means 7,915 flags were invalid. And then for the usual metric of just like, how pathetic some of you are, Number of flags that were submitted more than once. 1,074. Really? Like, talk to each other or something. I don't know. All right, let's keep on with some of the shame to an extent, I guess. 64 CTF tickets were never claimed, so 64 no-shows. Then going on to T-shirts, people were pretty good at that because we had 64 no-shows and 65 unclaimed T-shirts. So only one of you didn't get one. And if you're wondering, it's too late. On the badges side, 117 were not claimed. So that's a bit worse. Again, too late. All right. What went wrong? So nothing that wasn't our fault, which I think might be a first. Usually something breaks in some interesting way, and it's just bugs, and it's not really our fault. This time, what broke was mostly our fault. So we had one issue with a team that was BGP routed to 2 VPN servers at the same time. So that causes 50% packet loss, which is not pleasant. By some miracle, that we do test every single VPNs before we open the CTF, and they all went through the test. So we just got lucky when the test went through. It ended up on the correct server. You just got lucky. Other thing, we had 4 teams that were missing some routes to the Linux challenges for a few minutes at the opening of the CTF. So yeah, that's mostly bad luck. We effectively never provisioned that many teams, and the most we ever provisioned was 88 teams. So if you had number 89 or up, yeah, we caught it pretty quickly, but yeah. Something else to put on the long list of stuff to manually check before opening. We also forgot to pre-snapshot all the challenges so that when you guys decide to go and completely mess up a challenge, we can just restore the snapshot. We ended up creating a bunch of them around midnight on Saturday, and that was mostly good for the CTF, but there were a couple of them we had to manually fix before that. And that was it for what we messed up this year. Then we're going to go to what you guys messed up. So, first one worth mentioning, because that's always entertaining, and that didn't happen last year. An entire team didn't show up. So Team 31, and I can't give a name because they never showed up to set a name. So Team 31 just did not show up. 8 tickets didn't show up. OK. Then the next one is Team 38, which is Spider-Man page, who I guess misunderstood Asgard and said when they saw the name, they just put their first name. So we had to go and clear that because, well, you know, probably not a good team name, I guess. And then we had Team 56, which is, I don't know, apparently, IDK, who, I don't even know why. So, you know, last year we were shaming a team who connected to the shell, and the first thing they did was power off. And we just left it at that, basically, being like, well, you know, you did it. This team took a different approach to it. It was rm-rf/star. Basically, more of the same. I think it probably went for close to 24 hours, I think, before we actually fixed it. The good thing is that, for those who don't know, you can actually connect back to your own IP addresses. You don't need the shell for any kind of connect back. But that still makes things easier. Anyway, that's it for the shaming this year. And that's it for me. As usual, we've got a bunch of stuff on GitHub if you want to go check that. If you want to play with Incus, which we very actively use to run everything, you can also go and play with that online. Thank you. All right, and I'm actually just kidding. I'm actually staying on stage for the next one, but it's not my department anymore. So just gonna talk about AV real quick, and gonna go through who's on the AV team. So we've got Marc-Antoine and Jérôme who are leading, and then we've got a whole bunch of people covering the different aspects of, you know, doing lighting, doing the sound, doing the video recording. So thanks a lot for them for being around throughout the conference, streaming everything, and then during the CTF with our various needs, both for AV between the rooms, which, as bumpy as it might have been occasionally, sorry for some of those downstairs at the beginning where there were some issues with speakers and whatnot, it still went a lot smoother than it did last year, so here is hoping for next year. Thanks a lot to the AV team. And next up, we're going to have Lambert, who's going to be talking to us about the badge.
Hello. So I hope you really enjoyed the badge and was able to social connect with people. So I always like to go through a few stats at the end of NorthSec, especially the defect rate. So this year we produced 1,500 badges, and for the first year we had an insane amount of defects. So 4% dead on arrival, we kind of expected that, but 9% it's just the screen that's dead. So yeah, that's the first we need to kind of look into that. In terms of the CTF hardware tracks, we had those 8 challenges, so that's the distribution. Only 2 people did the vault, like Eric said. And so you saw a few people have their faces printed on their badge. So we're like, it would be cool if we rickrolled people with that thermal printer. So you might have found QR codes spread all around the floor. And so we were tracking those QR codes to see how many people scanned it. So 421 people were rickrolled. No, it was not a flag. And so we were going to publish all of the firmware and the design files around June, July. We're going to clean up the repo and post that on that link at the bottom so that you can go and fiddle around with your badge. So all of this would not have been possible with the amazing team for the badge team. Like, all I did is just basically ask for money, and then these are the people who made everything happen. So thank you so much for that team, and a big round of applause to them. So, in August, we're going to have a call for action. So we're always looking for new people to help us for the hardware and for the firmware. So stay on the lookout on Discord. We're going to post something around August to get people to register and come help us for the badge 2026. One last thing. Outside, when you exit, if you don't want to keep your badge, don't throw it away. We have a box so that you can put it in, and we'll take care of it. We'll go and donate it. We'll have like workshops with it, and we're going to give it out to other people who are badge collectors. So yeah, that's really it. Thank you so much for coming. I'll see you next year.
It's me again. Hello, hello. What was it? Chat, GPT, chat. So before we move on, everybody does their shout-outs and everything. And I have my own shout-outs I like to do. So there's always some funny things or impressive thing that people do in the CTF. And I like to go through them now, if you let me. So first of all, there's a Team 47. They jackpotted the slot machine downstairs, but I don't think you understand. They did it by sheer luck. So they sat there and they played the slot machine and it worked. And it was like the last flag of the track. Okay, so it was a 10 point or something. Let's go buy an actual lottery ticket after that. After that, I have another shout out. This one was really interesting. It's Team 4. Some of you, there's the vending machine upstairs, a lot of NFC stuff. Everybody kind of, where's my card? How do I access the thing? And blah, blah, blah. They took another approach to it. So they took the two knives, they taped it together, and they shimmied their way through. Shout out to Team 04. Yeah. And they didn't break the machine, so that was the impressive part. And last but not least, this one is a personal favorite as well. Shout out to Team 49 for the amazing table decoration this year. They went all out for the decoration. We really love to see it. I think like this is something we did this year that's different from other years. We really released the theme early. We leaked a little bit about the scenario and everything that was going to happen. And that helps you guys getting dressed up for the event. And a lot of you like showed up with a lot of the costumes and decorations for your own table and everything. And it's definitely something we're going to keep doing, that's for sure. So thank you. Lastly, before I go to the next presentation, there's something I would like to mention that Stéphane just told me in my ear. So he told me that the VPN will still be available and from outside the Marché Bon Secours for the next week. So you can still play with the challenges, try to finish your track if you are still working on it. So it's still going to be there. And yeah, so next up, I would like a big round of applause for the president of NorthSec himself, Olivier Bilodeau.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much. I'm still high on the fumes from mineral spirit and the solvents and the temper evident track downstairs, so that might be a little bit hectic. What I wanted to talk about today was the amount of participants that we had. I'm the only one with the stats because I have access to the systems. So we had 665 CTF players this year. This is crazy, our biggest ever. We have 127 volunteers and year-long members of the non-profit organization, a lot of folks. And we, oh, yeah, sure. We gave 1,117 badges, meaning that we were probably around 1,200, 1,300 people at NorthSec this year, global, including training, conference, and CTF. So crazy big event. So I know drinking is getting out of fashion recently, but we still went through 1,600 liters of beer. And we went through like 30 liters of liquor during the party Thursday in 1 hour and a half. And this is around 600 to 800 drinks. So like the party was really amazing. It was mentioned before, but cheers to that. We're definitely gonna have parties with activities because you guys rock. You are open to meet other people and have fun. When there's a little train that organically spins up during a party, you know, the little train, it means the party is good, right? So yeah. Okay, now. I have an announcement to make. Some people have heard it before, but this is my last year as president. Okay? It's okay. It's okay. I need work-life balance and shit like that. Don't boo. Because our next president is in the room. He is currently vice president. And I would like to welcome Maxime Vout on stage. Let have him introduce himself a little bit.
Thanks, Olivier. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Thanks for your trust, Olivier, your leadership. Hope I'll be able to do as good as you did. NorthSec is built for the community, by the community, and trust me, it won't change. So, yeah, happy, and it's a real honor for me to step in the role of president. And hope to see all of you again next year. And yeah, thanks, everyone.
Merci. Okay. So I want to say I'm not going anywhere because I this year as president I had 2 tracks of challenges, 3 flags. Okay, you know they didn't work that well, and I was probably the last one to PR them into our system, and I had a ghostwriter for my texts. Scenario lead as a president, you know, you can like say, do this for me, thank you. But I did the challenge designs, and I did host the table for like half the time. Maybe Boivin did the rest, but all right. So one thing I wanted to talk about was last year I was heavy with everyone about money. This year is different because we don't know. So what's happening is a lot of last-minute stuff is happening, and we will know later. But I have a feeling, I have this feeling that it's going to be good. So last year I was super heavy. Turned out that it was not too bad because we had a lot of last-minute sales. So this year we were tracking last-minute sales very closely. There were not as many last-minute sales as last year. But we'll see when all the invoices are in. But I am proud to announce about money that if you... Before we do our analysis, if you want to register for next year at today's pricing, this is the time, this is the QR code. You need to scan the QR code because we are changing our ticketing system for a self-hosted one. So at some point during the summer, we will switch from DNS between the two. But so right now, you cannot buy your NorthSec 2026 tickets on tickets.northsec.io because this is the old system and this points to the new system. Thanks for everyone who enabled that change because it's really heavy when during the event you talk about the next year event and you're configuring a shop or a ticketing system, making sure that transactions are working. The team is amazing delivering that. A lot of, okay, no, I have like 3 more things. I think we're a lot of people, and we need, Laurent, do you have your meter for loudness meter? Okay, I want the loudest roar, the loudest, craziest decibel level we can make to thank at the same time all volunteers, full year-long or during the event, so the bar team being one that really merits a lot of applause because it's a very ungrateful work. And amongst many others, but they were not mentioned yet, and they really merit it. And you for being here, spending the whole weekend on your computers, solving insane challenges that we have so much fun making. So on the count of 3, let's break the glass. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! That not good? Hey, what's 89? Decibel? Oh, yeah. All right. I am satisfied with 89. I don't have any reference. So, yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Okay, now, another thing happened this year, and another QR code. I don't know. I guess I was a little late for the slides. We talked about this stuff publicly. Oh, yeah, for the QR code. Thank you for the Q. So we talked about this stuff publicly, but I'm going to do one last mention. One of our members, his warehouse, which we were using heavily, got flooded. So this is a link to Martin Lebel's GoFundMe fundraiser. He lost $500,000 of equipment, and NorthSec lost stuff, but it was nothing in comparison. The city said they're not responsible, so now you need to enter, like you need to sue them and all that stuff. And what doesn't help in this specific context is that all of the big TV broadcast station downtown were flooded as well. So they have lawyers. They're going to go after the city. We have Martin, who is a one guy business, side business, because he's working in IT. So like if you can spend like just a little bit amount of help, and thank you for all of those who did give before, and it's very generous. But so Martin is still able to run NorthSec. We rented a bunch of stuff. I think he's rebuying some of the stuff that he's using. But so it would be really appreciated if you can help him. And this is the QR code to the GoFundMe campaign. Yes, thank you, Martin. And now I think Martin is our next speaker. So thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Hey, bonjour tout le monde. Premièrement, je voulais remercier Olivier, notre président sortant. Donc, c'est symbolique, mais on t'a préparé une petite affiche avec les signatures de tous les bénévoles qui étaient présents à l'événement cette année. Si jamais il y en a qui n'ont pas signé, c'est encore le temps de le faire. On va la laisser ici en avant. Puis on va donner ça à Olivier symboliquement pour le remercier pour cette année. Alors, merci beaucoup, Olivier. All right. C'est ma 7e année que je fais partie de NorthSec. J'ai livré 5 événements. Il y a une différence entre le nombre d'années et le nombre d'événements livrés parce que c'était la pandémie. Donc, on n'était pas en présentiel. Puis ça n'a pas été une année facile. Comme Olivier l'a dit, le 16 août, j'ai été inondé. Il y a eu 5 pieds d'eau dans le local où il y avait tous les équipements électroniques, puis une partie des équipements de NorthSec aussi. Il a fallu tout décontaminer. Premièrement, je voudrais remercier tous les gens le lendemain de la communauté de NorthSec qui sont venus on-site dans 2 pouces de boue pour venir nettoyer à la guenille des badges, des back Rubbermaid, toutes sortes de choses qui ont été inondées. Donc, c'est vraiment apprécié. Merci beaucoup à ces gens-là qui sont venus. Une main d'applaudissement. Comme Olivier a dit, il y a beaucoup de dommages monétaires. C'est près de 400 000 $ de pertes qui ont été subies. Puis, où je m'en allais avec ça, j'ai perdu mon idée. C'est ça. Merci à tous ceux qui sont venus aider. Puis, il y a une campagne de sociofinancement qui roule. Ça va permettre, entre autres, de payer les frais légaux parce que la Ville a dit qu'il n'aiderait pas aucunement les sinistrés. Donc, c'est vraiment triste, mais c'est comme ça. Ça va leur coûter très cher. Donc, ils ont tiré la plug sur l'aide qu'ils vont donner aux sinistrés. Ceci dit, je vais passer avec le remerciement. Premièrement, je voudrais remercier, on va y aller en ordre chronologique, là, on a eu le party jeudi. Je voudrais remercier Barbada qui a voulu venir animer, nous roaster pendant une vingtaine de minutes. C'était une belle improvisation. Merci à Eric qui a donné une couple de cues sur qu'est-ce qu'elle pouvait nous dire pour son stand-up. C'était vraiment le fun. Je voudrais remercier aussi, je sais que Stéphane l'a déjà fait, mais je voudrais vraiment remercier toute l'équipe AV qui ont travaillé d'arrache-pied pour nous faire fonctionner le mur vidéo, le kit de son, l'éclairage. On est toujours à la recherche de sans frais, là, en fait, si vous connaissez quelqu'un qui veut venir manipuler du gear super cool, faire de l'éclairage, faire du son, ben, on peut onboarder n'importe qui parce que c'est difficile de recruter du monde qui connaît ça, l'audiovisuel. Un merci très chaleureux à toute mon équipe de logistique, donc Sarah, Alex, Simon Legros, et aussi Nick, un bénévole qui revient à chaque année des États-Unis, qui conduit 18 heures de temps pour venir à NorthSec. Je veux aussi remercier un de nos fournisseurs. C'est aussi mon ami dans la vie personnelle, donc Maxime de chez Catastrophe, qui nous a, Catastrophe Décors et Événements, qui nous a fourni la majorité là, des palmiers, des fruits en plastique, du décor qu'il y a eu, les bouées, les rideaux, tout ça. Donc merci à Maxime de chez Catastrophe de collaborer avec nous d'année en année. Finalement, merci à toute l'équipe bar qui a voulu embarquer dans mes projets fous de servir des cocktails exotiques cette année. Donc, c'était beaucoup de logistique et de planification pour arriver à faire ça. Au party, on ne sait jamais vraiment combien de gens on va avoir. Donc, Olivier il a dit on a brûlé combien de litres d'alcool, j'ai oublié. Mais merci à l'équipe bar là, qui vous a servi durant tout l'événement. Le café, la bière, l'alcool. La nourriture, les collations aussi. Donc, merci à tous ces gens-là. Et donc, ça conclut mes remerciements. Merci à tout le monde encore une fois. Puis je repasse le micro à Émile.
Excusez, c'est encore moi. So, yeah, we're at this point where it's actually kind of the end. So everybody go home. No, but for real, we have a few things that are coming, which are the people that won the CTF. So a bit before I go into details, there's going to be a bit of logistics because pictures, you know. So if you win any prize, anything that is going to happen, let's put this back like this. Is it whatever? So please come in through here, and you come in front of the screen, right where the flamingo is. I don't know why it's there, but it's going to be our landmark. And we take a beautiful picture, and then we move towards here, and we go see Max, which will be taking your information for the prize itself. But we also have the challenge coins here, and maybe some other things. So first of all, this year the IMC2 would like to offer an award to the team that was only constituted of full-time students. This is something that I think for us is really important because NorthSec really, like Max said, it's for the community and by the community. And the best way to build a community is to have like students being part of this community and coming to NorthSec year after year. And this is, I think that's how most people started being at NorthSec as students. And you see, they stick around. So it works. So I think this is a wonderful award that is being gifted out. And it's been gifted out to Team Bees of Seas Polycyber that finished 5th with 165 points. Sont toutes là. On est toutes là. On est toutes là. Oui. Vous autres, vous n'avez pas de challenge coin, malheureusement, mais prenez une... je vais me tasser, c'est pas de photo. Congratulations again. And don't look at my screen. Just go see Max. Oh yeah, they are awarded a prize pool of $1,000. Thank you to Sitter. But it is. I still feel it's really impressive. They did super well during the CTF, so it's amazing. So next up, the CTF, the full CTF winners. A small thing this year. So there's as usual, everybody's going to. Thank you for reminding me to say what people win, right? The challenge coins for the third, second, and first place. There's also a small cash prize that is always interesting to pay for the dinner after and whatever you would like to enjoy with. But this year we also have Kaido that is sponsoring the first team's prize. Whatever. Sorry, I'm starting to be very tired. But everybody from the first team will be awarded a 1-year license of Kaido. So thank you a lot, Kaido, because it's a really they are a small company and they sponsor us. I think it's the second year. And we love them. We want to see them again. So thanks again. And I have the papers with me here, so you will be leaving with the thing. Sorry. All right. So like I said, I'm a little tired. Let's bring the energy a little bit in the room because we're going to be announcing the winners. But before I do so, but I think the one thing I want to say before everybody goes crazy, because I know it's going to happen, is that after will be all the volunteers. Please don't leave out running or something. We're going to be taking the pictures for all the volunteers. So please stick around. Don't leave the room running. We would like to have everybody kind of around so that we can have everybody on the picture. It's always difficult every year to really have everybody. And it's always because I say it after I announce the winner. So this year I'm doing it different. Okay. So in third place, with 201 points, we have Freaks 2600. I'm going to move my flamingo a little bit. All right. Ooh. I feel the tension in the room. We're already there. Okay, so in second place, with 218 points, we have Les Acteurs de la Menace. And now, in first place with 228 points, scoring a 10-point flag 2 minutes before the end of the CTF, breaking the tie. We have Hubert. All right. So with this, we're already NorthSec 2025 is already coming to an end. It's been a wonderful year. The cruise was a success. Even if there was a little bit of rain, we steered around and we navigated everything. So it was a wonderful year. Thanks to everybody. Again, thanks to all the volunteers, all the participants. And see you next year for another amazing edition of NorthSec. Thank you very much.